Trudeau not backing down after protesters hurled death threats, racist and sexist slurs. Trudeau cancels rallies over security concerns. Polls are in. Trudeau has had to cancel a few rallies over security concerns amid protest. Dozens of angry protesters chant obscenities at Leaders' Ontario event. Trudeau is not the most popular guy in the rural countryside of Ontario. The only way he does well in Ontario is in Toronto, but out here where I am, it's mostly conservative, and no one likes Trudeau. Where I work, very few people like Trudeau, or if they do, they're pretty quiet. Now he's vowing to meet anger with compassion. Right, that's really helped his foreign policy. He was also expected to address supporters on Friday evening in Bolton, but the event was cancelled over security concerns. And after nearly a 2-hour delay, a man took to the loudspeaker to announce the event was cancelled, to which the crowd reacted with more shouting. So there's more anti-Trudeau people at the rally than there is Trudeau supporters. That's not a good sign for Trudeau. And I hate to think what's going to happen when he heads out west. OPP were called in to escort the campaign bus away from the site. So people are getting fed up with Trudeau. Now he's blaming it all on the pandemic, which has been hard on everyone, including those who protested. You know, that's a politician's remark. It's basically his policies that have drove this. His track record on his foreign policy is an absolute failure. His economic policies have been a failure. Inflation is up 3%. Taxes are higher. And he said the event was canceled because they couldn't ensure people's safety at the event. I mean, his safety, not everyone's safety. They wouldn't care about the other people. They'd lynch him. Now, he goes on to say that's something that Canadians always need to reflect on because it's not who we are. Yes, it is. We're very passionate when we get about things and we get angry. He is not the guy for the job. He was met by anti-vaccine protests in Surrey, BC last Wednesday. Some shouting him that they were refusing to get a vaccine. And on Friday alone, Trudeau was faced with two crowds of angry protesters. And protesters have been hanging signs reading Trudeau treason, which is right. Trudeau is selling us out. Once the bus pulled up, crowds started booing and shouting, which only intensified after the Liberal leader stepped off the bus. So he's not getting the reception he helped. So he's not the most popular guy out there. Now, he says he won't back down from all these death threats, racist and sexist slurs. I'm sure his wife loves that. But it should come home to him and the Liberals that they're in trouble if these are the kind of things that are going on. His speech in Cambridge, Ontario was also delayed by about an hour because of disruptions by protesters. So these guys, people are following around, meeting wherever he goes in Ontario and showing him how angry they are and how much he's out of touch with the people. And he's still toting his climate change policy and that, which is, you can debunk that because how is bringing 1.2 million immigrants into the country supposed to help our climate change numbers? Think about that. Think of how much greenhouse emissions come from 1.2 million people. Think how much arable farmland is destroyed, how much forests are destroyed, how much swampland and natural habitats destroyed to accommodate that many people. How many trees have to be cut down to provide housing. Metal and precious metals have to be dug up out of the earth in strip mining to supply all the needs of a house for that many people. Think about it. Cars, public transportation, sewage. Those things don't help the environment. So by fast-tracking Canada's population growth, we're actually doing more damage to the environment. So according to the latest polls, the Conservatives are up by a couple of points, 1 percentage point over the Liberals. And the NDP are also down by 0.2 points, which is nothing new. Bloc Québécois are up by 0.1, but they're mostly a Quebec thing, so it's not a big deal. The Greens are steady at 4%, and other are 5.1. These polls will change as we get close to the election. I don't see anyone winning a majority government at the moment. I think we're going to go back to a minority government, but it won't be a Liberal one. It might be a Conservative one. And if the Conservatives do get in, it'll be a minority government with the Bloc, because them and the NDP have nothing in common, so we might be going back to an election earlier. But hopefully somebody can win a majority. I'm not a fan of the Liberals, and I definitely don't want the NDP. So I'm conservative, I guess, even though some of my viewpoints wouldn't be considered conservative. I'm more of a centralist. Trudeau is not in for any smooth sailing, and O'Toole has been pretty quiet. Not a lot's been happening with him. Anyway, any Canadians out there, let me know what you guys think of the whole election campaign stuff that's been going on, and who's your favorite candidate right now. Until next time, this has been the Great White North Report.